Good morning. I'm Polly Hill representing FSGB, and this is the next in our series of podcasts. I'm delighted today to welcome Steve Mulvaney of the Canal and River Trust. Good morning.
Morning, Polly.
How are things?
Very good. Yeah, it's great. It's absolutely beautiful to be here today, and thanks for inviting me to talk about what we've been doing over the last couple of years.
Fantastic. I mean, we're going to delve a little bit today into a case study that we've put together and some of the key sound bites from that. But first of all, tell me a little bit about Canal and River Trust. What's it all about?
So the trust, which was formerly British Waterways, looks after 2,000 miles of the canal network and reservoirs and parts of the river network. It's predominantly England and Wales, and we maintain, ensure that boaters are getting the services that they deliver. So the people that are using the network, because it's predominantly leisure, but also not just the actual waterways, but the towpaths alongside of it. Because if you imagine, water is great to be near. It's calm and it's relaxing, and you want people to be able to enjoy and get to places. So we maintain the footpaths. It's a heritage type business, because canals are over 200 years old. They've lasted very well, but they do need some tender loving care, and that's what the trust does. So we keep it so it's usable for boaters, our customers, and the general public to enjoy.
Fantastic. So I've got you to thank for my beautiful canal walkway in Bradford-on-Avon, where I live nearby. So
Absolutely. The amount of time and effort that our teams go into to looking after this, and it's a never-ending situation, because you've got some really beautiful parts.
Yeah.
You've got some amazing canals. Useless bit of information: Birmingham has more canal mileage than Venice. I think somehow you'd probably want to be in the canals in Venice than Birmingham, but it's
I don't know. This weekend there were some Kardashians there. I don't think
there you go, Birmingham. We're on our way. But yeah, it's one of those areas where people forget that it's there, because it's not really visible from a lot of places, because it tends to be sort of relatively low and lots of motorways over it and bridges over it. But it's a beautiful place to relax and unwind.
Yeah, fantastic. And interestingly, it is mostly leisure, you say. It's not so much residential in those.
Yeah, there are people that have got some beautiful homes on the sides of canals, but it's for the boaters to navigate, as they call it, to travel up and down the canal network, to just enjoy it.
Yeah, fantastic. So with so many miles of canals, you must have quite a fleet of vehicles to manage. What sort of size are we talking?
Yeah, so we have just over 500 vehicles. It changes quite regularly, but our core fleet is probably around about 480. But we have vehicles added and removed for rentals for different types of events that we do. But predominantly our vehicles are vans, ranging from sort of car derived small sort of transit connect type vehicles up to 3.5 ton flatbeds, tippers, and large welfare vehicles for welfare of staff on site. So those vehicles are operated within teams around the trust. It's very rare that you have the right vehicle in the right place at the right time, but we do have some flexibility around that, around moving vehicles around. But the vehicles are used for transporting people, transporting our goods, transporting equipment, but also, as I said, we've got welfare vehicles, so they'll park up on site and be the welfare for the teams that are working there. So they've got a canteen, that they've got washroom facilities, and somewhere to take a seat. Particularly on a day like today, you would want a bit of shade.
Yeah, absolutely right. Goodness. So what were the main challenges, or what are the main challenges of managing a fleet of that size?
Well, the challenges is making sure the vehicles are kept on the road, and making sure that they're safe, and making sure that they're serviced correctly. And the challenge that the trust had was prior to me, there wasn't a dedicated fleet manager within the trust. And it was just done. Fleet happened when it was British Waterways, and then when it moved into the trust. But they had the FTA, Freight Transport Association, come in and do an audit to help them say, well, what is it you need? And it was identified that they couldn't carry on doing what they were doing, and they needed to put some form of fleet management into it. And it identified all the issues and concerns, certainly about driver compliance, vehicle compliance, and making sure that colleagues were using safe equipment. So the trust took the decision after the audit to put a fleet manager into the business, which is how I joined. And I joined the trust 5 years ago, and came into the role. They sort of looked and saw what we had, and what we had wasn't great. I think that's the best way of putting it. It wasn't great. Identified compliance issues around vehicles, drivers. It was challenging. So the decision was taken to look at the current suppliers that we had and go to market, go and look and find what partnership we could work with that was going to really help us get our drivers compliant, get our vehicles compliant. And then when we've done all of that, look at how we can best utilize that to start looking at cost savings around it.
Enter FSGB Driver Management.
Absolutely. So we did a full tender process. There were 7 companies that we started with, and Fleet Service GB were chosen to be our provider. Couple of reasons that were obvious right from the start was the fact that Fleet Service GB engaged with us straight away. And when I say engaged with us, they were saying that they could do stuff and then doing it very quickly. So we weren't being sold something that was going to happen eventually. We had some significant wins really shortly around driver compliance, our license checking, our vehicle checking, getting vehicles serviced. One of the key things that they did was they looked at the service records for every vehicle, and we pulled a load of vehicles off the road to get them serviced. So there was a real burst of energy and a burst of actions happening with the fleet to get it to what was a safer standard. It wasn't unsafe, but I wasn't sure that we were as compliant as we needed to be. So working with the team at Fleet Service GB, they want to work with you, and absolutely open to ideas. I've heard this a couple of times recently, sort of, you don't know what you don't know. And I think the trust wasn't aware of some of the things. And having that sort of, let's get it all out. Let's get it all out in the open, warts and all. And what can we do with it? What can we, how can we fix it? So our journey started, and the results that we're now seeing, absolutely pay off for all the hard work that we had. And it was hard work. There was an awful lot of hard work, and the teams, the individuals at Fleet Service GB, they just want to do it. They just want to help, which is great, which is absolutely fantastic. And I can't thank them enough for that initial sort of burst of let's get it all done, and then get to a sort of level playing field where we then build on it.
Fantastic. I mean, I've heard several times about FSGB, and I work as an independent for them. That it's all about making service personal, and that sounds very much like a first-hand testimony of that.
Absolutely. When you go into a meeting and the chairman could pop in and says hello, when the board of directors all know you have a relationship with all of them, and it's not like you're trying to, if something goes wrong, and sometimes it does through no fault of anybody, but things go wrong, it's how they react to it and say, yeah, you're absolutely right, that went wrong, but this is what we've done. We had literally a live example in the last 24 hours where through no fault of Fleet Service GB, something went wrong, but they fixed it. Everybody was on it, and it was brilliant. And all I needed to know was yesterday afternoon I got a phone call to say, yeah, it's done. Brilliant.
So it feels like a safe pair of hands then.
Absolutely. And I know that if I'm not available, I can trust the decisions that the senior management of Fleet Service make about our vehicles.
Fantastic. It sounds like a great partnership.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I've got in front of me a case study, which you can find at fleetservicegb.co.uk. In this, we've got lots of lovely statistics. Could you just talk me through a few of these and just about the kind of tangible changes that were made by introducing the FSGB Driver Management Programme?
Yeah. So for the first couple of years, we didn't know what our true costs were because we were picking up on bad data or poor data. So you've got to give it a couple of years to start looking at stuff. And we're now seeing a 14% reduction year on year on our total spend. Now, that's because we are servicing vehicles when they should be servicing. We're identifying, so we're being proactive rather than reactive to it. So that's a key thing. When we start looking at our drivers, our drivers are engaged with the road risk program. They do their e-learners. We're at, I think it was 89% up to date, and the rest of it are due. So it's overdue. And that was yesterday afternoon.
I understand that there's a live driver score for this program, so there's a sort of constant review of the drivers' confidence, ability.
Yeah, so when you start looking at their baseline score that they start with, and your score could be anything, and we're not looking at the baseline score as a means. We're looking at how we can improve that, and for me, it's all about making sure that drivers are getting better, and what getting better means having less incidents. We're traveling miles, which we're taking larger vehicles in a small network that was never designed to take motor vehicles. It was designed for horses. So there are going to be incidents that happen, but we've got a 21% reduction in our non-fault collisions. We've got a 19% reduction in our at-fault collisions. They still happen, but when you start looking at those percentages, and that's for all the work that we, Canal River Trust and Fleet Service GB, do with managing our drivers. And we have some large pockets where there's some real healthy competition. I get drivers ring and say, I lost the point. What do you mean you lost the point? My score's dropped. What have you done? What's happened? And it's a genuine, well, actually, it was this. Right, because I haven't done that bit yet. Because I haven't, yeah, I've done it now. Okay, so your points have come back up.
A lot of this stuff they can do on the driver app.
Do on their driver app, and the app is absolutely industry leading. Being a fleet manager with sort of 500 vehicles, you do have to keep looking at what's out there, what's available. And there isn't another app that comes close to the Fleet Service GB app. And I've been fortunate enough to see different iterations of it. And the last big update was like an Apple update. It was going from sort of iPhone 5 to iPhone 16. And that's how sort of good it was. How it was like, wow, there's some superb changing. And Fleet Service GB are really, really good at getting your feedback and saying what works for you, what doesn't work, and what can we make better. So having involved in that development,
it's very client led to that.
Absolutely. So there are stuffs that there are items, there are things in there that for argument's sake, I may well have suggested, and Fleet Service are going to be, that's a brilliant, good idea, we'll do that. And then everybody gets it in the same way that other clients have got, well, we like doing this works. And so, well, if it works for them, let's let's put it on the app if it works. And it does. And that's what I think is great. The app's completely interactive. Drivers love it because everything's in one place. They don't have to open this app to get their vehicle serviced, or this app to look at their driver score. It is there, which is superb and is absolutely industry leading as far as I'm concerned.
Fantastic. So I think I might know what the answer to this is, but what sort of advice might you give somebody coming into a role in your position, as you did with the fleet perhaps not with its house in order? What advice would you give to that person?
You've got to look at what's there. The first thing, you have to establish what you've got, and no matter how bad it is, you've got to sort of say, well, this is it. You can't hide anything. Whilst that might upset other people in your business, well, this is the truthful, and then work with a partner, warts and all,
yeah.
and then work with a partner that is absolutely going to work with you and not going to be somewhere sat in a corporate office on the other side of the world with a call center somewhere else, that is a true UK business that wants to work with UK fleets. So get it all out in the open. And I genuinely cannot recommend Fleet Service GB to anyone, even just talking to them to understand the problems that you've got or you could have, and they would have some form of solution for it.
Amazing. Steve Mulvaney, thank you very much indeed.
No problem at all. That's great. Really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.